Hello. So today I wanted to talk about why no matter what you do to change your money, it feels the same and you pretty much have the same amount left over. So if you are trying to manifest money, whether you are a heart-centered entrepreneur or you want money for your purpose and you really want to attract money, you have got to work on your energetic minimum and maximum. Okay, so everybody kind of has one. I'm going to use myself as an example, right? So I am now a entrepreneur and I run a heart-centered business called Heart's Happiness. And I've made six figures. I've had like five-figure months. I've had various incomes during the last 4.5 years during that business. Prior to that, I used to work for the BBC here in the UK and I had a set salary. And prior to that, I had different salaries, etc. Now, I had this realization when I was looking at energetic minimum and maximums that with every career, so even like my first job, the very first job I ever had, and then, at various points in my career, I always had just enough. So I could always cover like if I had any like living costs or anything, like there was days when I didn't have a mortgage and later I had a mortgage, but whatever those costs were, I would always pay them. I'd always pay like my credit cards and things like that. Like I'd always pay them. Now, my energetic minimum was naturally a minus number. So if I was buying a house or something like that, at those times I wouldn't be in any kind of debt. But other than that, I was in debt like all of the time, pretty much my whole like really working life. I'd always have a credit card that I kind of maxed out, that I would then clear, that I would then max out. And it was just kind of the way that I always have been. And if I tune into how money would make me feel, it would just make me feel like there never is enough and that I wasn't particularly safe with it and I wasn't particularly provided for. And in terms of like my money behaviors and habits, I'm somebody that would spend like money. As soon as it would come in, I would be like, I'd feel terrified to hold it and I would just spend it. Now, everybody has, some people hoard, some people are better, their energetic minimum maximum are not minus, they're like minimum is positive, they have loads of money in their savings. But then they feel scared to save. Like we all have different behaviors with our minimum and maximum, and then in terms of like what we feel comfortable creating for ourselves. So when I had a business and I was like, okay, I'm going to start calling money in, I noticed that in all these different jobs and different like seasons of my life, it was always the same that I would have just enough to cover all of the things and I would have some kind of debt unless I was buying a house. Like it's always been the same. And money would always feel like it wasn't enough, that I wasn't safe and that I wasn't provided for. Now, I wanted to change my money reality and change this paradigm that I've been living in, which is not enough and minus, not provided for, not safe, that kind of thing. I wanted to get off that hamster wheel and change the money paradigm. I call it. So the little money world that I live in, which is there isn't enough money, it's not safe, and you have to struggle really hard in order to have it. And I basically drew a box and wrote down like what my old kind of belief system is that there will never be enough, I have to work harder, I have to struggle, and what that minimum was. So around about minus whatever it was. And then like what has my maximum ever been? And like I said, really, in terms of a maximum, like I could earn, 10K or 6K or whatever. But after I'd earned it and spent it on the things I needed to spend it on, I'd always go back to that energetic minimum. So really, my life wasn't particularly changing because of the money that I was earning. Like even when I made six figures, it was the same. Even when I chose to reorganize my business and work less, it was the same. So the really good thing about that is when you are telling yourself a story that you're not safe and that your like circumstances are going to be really terrible if you go for your dream, you just have to remind yourself that you're always going to have your energetic minimum. So like that's always going to be the case. Like you're always like whatever that standard has been for your life. And for me, because of my upbringing, my bills were paid for. Like I always had a roof over my head. I always had things paid for me and things that I needed. So what I then had to do is like, okay, so what is my new standard for life? Like, what's the standard amount that I want to have saved? What's the standard amount that I want to make each month? What does that look like? For example, like maybe it's £100,000 saved, $100 saved. Maybe it's, I'm just making this up, right? Like £55,000 a month or $55,000 a month or like $10 $100 a month, whatever you want, right? Just you make it up, whatever feels good to you. I'm going for like crazy numbers because why the hell not? Okay. So, just be like, okay, what is the reality I really want to live in? Like, what would feel really nourishing to me? And some of my clients, they'll just do this a little bit. They'll notice what their their bottom and their maximum has been, and they'll kind of be like, okay. Right. After everything, I want the energetic standard to actually be like £3,000. So even after I've paid everything, I've still got a plus of this. And so we just like you just want to play around with that. Like you might want a small amount to kind of play with, or you might want like a bigger one. So I'm going crazy. I'm like, it's going to be this amount, and it's going to be this in savings. And I've also decided that I don't want to have a mortgage on the house that I live in, because I don't want to feel like I have to work. So like that kind of financial freedom. So this is insane, right? Like what I'm saying is crazy. Given somebody that's always had this energetic minimum of minus. And then what we have to do is then we have to look at all of the previous belief systems, and we have to also believe it's safe in the body. So it's not enough just in your mind and repeating an affirmation. You have to feel it in your nervous system. You have to feel really like comfortable with it. So I've mentioned this in before in other videos, but I will actually imagine the amount that I want to create monthly and the amount that I want to kind of that new energetic minimum. I will imagine that like in my body. And when I like if you're a woman, like imagining it in the womb space, which is like a creation portal. It's basically sacral energy. It's like the place where we literally create from thin air, like create babies from thin air. So you can put like the money in there. And then what will start to happen is you'll start to get so much resistance, right? Like it will be like, oh, that's not possible because of this, it's not possible because of that, it's not safe because of this, it's not safe because of that. And you want to write down all of those things, all of those reasons, and then you want to disprove them and be like, oh, like for me, oh my God, it's not safe for you to hold money. So one of my patterns was that I would overspend really, really quickly because when I was younger, my dad would take my money off of me basically. And the men in my family generally used to take money off women. They used to work a lot and they would take the money for themselves. So my little strategy as a kid was like, okay, so what we have to do is we have to now spend that money really, really quickly because then we're safe. And like some other people I know are like, oh, okay, all right, well, I just need to hold on to this money and I won't give myself anything that I need. So we want to like really notice those kind of behaviors and disapprove those lies. And like, for example, me just letting my body know with my seven senses that my dad doesn't exist in this reality. He has now passed. So I'm absolutely fine and that will be okay. And you'll have other things like this, like these people will get angry at me. Like someone in my family might take it from me. We have so many crazy ideas of to why this isn't safe for us. Um, and it's all unconscious. And that's why we then have to really decide to consciously create this. So we can visualize, we can speak it into reality. Like I like to just voice note myself and just be like, oh my gosh, like I feel so safe, I feel so supported, I feel so nourished. I have this 100,000 in the account, I'm getting this much per month. And then I really think about what is the standard of my life looking like. Like I'm shopping here. I'm, you know, the reason why I want this money is not anything too magical. But basically, it's just like creating a security and a foundation for me. So it's really like, what does that feel like? And really talking about that life. And then how I want money to feel. I want money to feel nourishing and supporting, like it's always got my back and it's always providing for me. And it's like I can trust it and it's always there. So basically, I now am visualizing and feeling in my body that money makes me feel that way. So every day throughout the day, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so supported. Like I just had money to pay for this pedicure. I always get what I need. I'm so in the overflow. And like what we're doing then is we're changing the vibration around money to no longer be like scarcity, fear, not enough. And now into the vibration of, oh my God, I'm so supported. It's like playing a game with the universe, to be honest. It's like going, okay, universe, I'm ready to play now. So I'm ready to like amend these minimums actually. Because what I find with clients, especially because my clients, a lot of them are entrepreneurs, that minimum, because they don't do that energetic work on the minimum maximum, they basically will work loads, generate a load of income, but actually just have the same reality. They don't change their lives or their worlds with their money. They're just making a lot of it, but they're not actually holding it or not actually being nourished by it because of this nervous system work, because the inner work is stopping them. And basically, it could be something like, your younger self feeling like they're going to get in trouble for having it, feeling irresponsible because we have it. It could be something like, spending it really quickly because, like you feel like your needs are not being met. For everybody, it's so different. So you want to write down that list and start going through that list disproving it because a lot of it are like that's not real. Like for example, one of my big beliefs that I had in my previous paradigm was I have to struggle in order to have money. And so I was like, no, I'm basically deciding that my new belief is the more I rest, the more I make. The more I create and like feel joy and feel excitement, the more money I make, right? So that's the new belief system. And then I look for the evidence that that is possible, right? So if I'm in my garden, just having a great day, like enjoying the sunshine, I'm like, oh my God, the more I rest, the more I feel joy, the more abundance I have. Like, look at how abundant this moment is. The weather, the garden, it's so incredible. So it's really bringing your focus to the reality you want to make and seeing it here now. This is so important. It's so important because I see people that are like, okay, what I need to do is I need to go out and do this outside stuff. And then I'm going to feel enough. And then I'm going to feel worthy. And then that number is going to change. But it doesn't work like that. It's an inside out job. And what you'll find is that you have to believe that it's possible for you before your reality even says so. So I saw a post today which was like, it was talking about love, but love and money are so the same. I'm going to do a video about that soon. But basically, she was just saying that, when you have to feel the belief in yourself first. So I fully believe that this is possible for me. And the other money paradigm that I'm creating is that I, you know, work a couple of hours a week, what like with in my client work, and that equals that money. Like being brave enough to say what you truly desire, and do let it be as well something that comes from your heart and from your soul, because that is going to be much easier to manifest because it's like almost like it's meant for you. So I will, like truly imagine that it is there and believe that it's possible and believe that it's coming and truly believe that it's coming. And then I would look in for the evidence in my reality that it's already here in the way that I feel in my body because I'm feeling joy, I'm feeling peace, I'm feeling safety, I'm feeling financially nourished. I'm grateful for every penny I have. I'm grateful for like services and like we're in a relationship with money like throughout the day, like when we go to the supermarket, when we are paying our phone bill, when we, like all of the time that we're in communication with money all of the time. So what you want to do is every time that's happening is really noticing your behavior, your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, and making sure those are neutralized as the version of who you are truly going to be, right? So I had this unexpected expense this week. It was something I wanted, like I wasn't planning on investing in at all, but my heart just knew that it was the right thing in terms of like what's next in my expansion. I'm going to go on to that in a second, actually. And straight away I felt contraction, like, oh my God, it's not safe for me to get my needs met. This is a childhood wound because I didn't always get my needs met, other than like food and shelter and things like that. So like emotionally, I didn't get what I met, and this is a program that can support me on my emotional healing journey. And so I was like, oh my God, I haven't got enough for that. Oh my God, I haven't got enough for that. I'm so unsafe. And it was just a story I was telling myself. It was just like, and then I realized that some bill is actually finished now, and this is actually just replacing that bill. So it's absolutely fine. And I could get into my story of like, it's not enough and I'm not going to be able to make that. And then actually manifest that reality rather than trusting and believing I'm supported. Like, it sounds delusional and you can start really, really small, but it does actually really work. And what I would say as well is that when you are, speaking into reality, what those new energetic minimums and maximums, so your minimum is like what you're holding, your maximum, like what you're getting maximum per month into your account. So minimum, what you always have after you've paid for everything, and your maximum, like what you're getting all the time. And really, when you're like, okay, I've cleared away all of the negative thoughts about it. I've felt in my body how it's going to feel, and I'm going to, throughout the day, I'm going to feel that way about money all of the time. I'm going to imagine that emotion in my body like all of the time. So when we're doing that, and we're really doing a lot of self-care to make sure we're regulated. Emotional mastery is so important on this journey. So when if you're feeling shame or anxious or fear, that's why with my clients, I'm always like, what are you feeling? What does that feeling need? How can you neutralize that feeling? Because that's how you raise your vibration to make you an energetic match for what you desire. And when you're doing that and you are radiating at that higher frequency, you are tuned in to the universal energy, if you like. And it will drop little things into your head. Like, for example, this week when I had this, like, do that program, and I wasn't intending to do a program or anything. And I was just like, oh no, I can't do that yet. And then it sent me like three more signs, basically. And I knew that that was the step that I needed to take in order to get me there. So sometimes we have to do kind of stretchy things like that, like invest in something that's going to leverage our wealth, that's going to like help us heal our relationship with money, or help us to, um, you know, create, like invest in something or something like that. Like it's so different for every single person. But I just really wanted to make you aware of that minimum maximum. Look at your history all of the time. There's a theme there, like, and often like a theme that you've carried on since childhood. So I never was allowed to have more, right? So that's kind of what's been happening. But I kind of had a little loophole around that. So I would give myself certain needs and things like that. So some needs would be met, but not all, and it's like you're recreating your own history unconsciously again and again and again. And the really cool thing about this is that you can go, actually, I'm kind of ready to rewrite that now. I'm actually ready to have a different financial reality. And this works because it's not just the money coming in, because what I became very good. Like I took my business to, I've made multi six figures in my business, and had these big cash months and things like that. And then I would just be in the same situation all the time. And I was like, I'm making so much more money. How am I in the same situation? Because I'm unconsciously spending more. I'm spending things in a panic. I'm spending things out of alignment. I'm spending money out of fear, because of that energetic minimum. And now I can be like, I'm going to hold loads of money in my savings account and be like, Dad is not coming to take that. And it's such a powerful exercise. You absolutely want to do this if you want to call in more money. In the other videos in Raise Your Vibration playlist, I've showed you some tapping that you can do as well around like how you're feeling, like in terms of the stories and the lies that you're telling yourself. And quite honestly, guys, Your life is a mirror of how you feel inside. It's all about your perception of reality. So you can literally see things in scarcity and fear and not enough, or you can see it in abundance. And if you do that, that kind of raises your frequency. You don't want to gaslight yourself. You want to feel any negative emotions and be there for them because they're just showing you the parts of you that are not aligned with this new financial reality that you are creating for yourself. Now, I'd love to know how you get on. Let me know about your energetic minimum maximums, what you're changing them to. Give this exercise a go. And if you're not already, come and join me in my Raise Your Vibration community. It's completely free. Get a class of how I'm raising my vibration, how I'm calling in that extra money. You get that completely for free. And the community is open till the end of March, so you come join us. And I am dropping regular trainings into this playlist, like Raise Your Vibration, during this time that I'm doing this challenge, because I'm doing it on myself. So I really wanted to prove to you that this actually works. And this week I had a really big shift since I became super aware of my energetic minimum. And I have actually made like 6.3 thousand pounds in like 2 days. I think, so far since I had that big shift at the weekend. And I was like, okay, I think I know some of the bigger pieces that are at play here. So this stuff really does work. And by the way, when I didn't have a business, I would attract money in other ways as well. And last year, when I was working less, I attracted money from other places that were not business. So if you're somebody that's not an entrepreneur and you came across this video, then there's just so many ways money can come up. It can come from the tax man. It could come from an old bank account. It could come from a family member. It could come from a gift. It could come from so many places. It's not your job to figure out how. And as an entrepreneur, you can be like, oh, I have to do these steps in order to make the money. But actually, you've got to follow your heart and your soul because that is actually what's going to like guide you to the result that you truly want. So enjoy. Let me know how you get on. And I'd love to see you in the community and share with me there like what you're shedding, what you're releasing as you create this new financial reality. I'll see you in the next video.